So let's get started while other people join. So a warm welcome to everyone for attending this demo on Snowflake. So in today's session, we really don't talk anything in technical, but we always talk about what exactly is Snowflake in layman terms, and what is something that we need to do to become a professional in Snowflake, and what are the job opportunities, what type of skills that are expected in this Snowflake, and why this Snowflake has got so much demand in the market today, and a couple of other things also as well we'll be discussing. So I assume that the participants doesn't have any background in Snowflake, as well as I assume that this is going to be a layman session where I try to put it in totally in understandable manner, so that we'll try to get into the things. Okay, so once again, welcome to everyone, and this is what we are going to do today. We are going to discuss about this Snowflake cloud computing platform. In this demo and in this course and in this boot camp, we only talk about data. Where is your data? How should we move the data from one place to another place? Maybe your data might be on premise, and you need to bring the data to cloud. Okay, and how we can have the option of transforming the data, and then bringing out some valuable insights out of that particular data, as well as trying to produce some meaningful analytics in terms of the normal reports, the dashboards, the predictive analytics in the form of machine learning applications, the artificial intelligence. So, for all these particular things, the Snowflake is going to be the hub of information. So, as a Snowflake data engineer, we are expected to create this particular Snowflake hub that can cater all the different sections of the user community. So that's why this is not only related to the data engineering course, this is the place where we also talk about the data analytics section also as well. So that's why many of the roles and the skill set that you see within this Snowflake cloud data platform will be having a lot of common stuff. Like when I try to go for the role of a data engineer, I have some stuff that is in common. When I go as the role of a data scientist also as well, will be having some stuff in common. So we'll not be discussing about all those roles and all those particular things, but in a nutshell, what this Snowflake is expected to bring to the user community, all those particular things will be seeing. And once again, welcome people from all the from India and from US who have joined in order to just go through these particular sections of this Snowflake. So in this uh, in this course, we are going to have, see, this session or this boot camp is going to be for 45 sessions we are going to have. Within this one, we are going to have the hands-on experience and all the Snowflake features that can help you with the Snowflake projects. Like when you get into the role of a Snowflake developer or an architect or a data engineer, okay, what exactly you're expected to perform, the end-to-end hands-on experience will be getting. And another thing is that we'll be creating a Snowflake free trial account, and we'll be covering all the concepts of Snowflake using those particular live examples. And another thing is that we'll be covering this theory and practice side by side. Okay, it's not going to be a theory, and it's not going to be the practice, but we are going to have both these two things going hand in hand, as well as the best practices that you are expected to follow in order to use all these particular features will be seen. Okay, and I assume, as I have told you, I assume no prerequisite is required to learn this Snowflake. However, it would be nice if you can have an awareness of the cloud, okay, as well as some database or data warehousing concepts. If you have, that would be nice, but no need to worry, because once the session starts and once the course starts, we'll be covering the cloud concepts and the database and data warehouse related concepts that are required for this particular Snowflake. Will be covering in depth before we move on. So that's the reason I assume the participants are are having some minimum prerequisite to join this particular course, but we'll be able to normalize the scenarios and then we can go further. That should not be a problem. So within this agenda, what we are going to do is that we are going to introduce this particular Snowflake system, the Snowflake ecosystem, what are the benefits of Snowflake, and the job opportunities and the job roles, and what are the required skills, and how exactly is the job market, and then how to get started with Snowflake. And finally, after my session, we'll be having a Q&A to answer any questions that anybody is having, and we'll take it from there. Okay, so let's go ahead and then start. What exactly is this one here? So about me, I'm having around 2 decades of IT experience in various roles of data analytics. So I started with data architect, and now I'm working as a data scientist and a machine learning practitioner in the state of Florida, having 2 decades of experience in data engineering, and right now I'm working as a solution architect basically, and I do boot camps for data engineering, machine learning, AI, and then data science also as well, especially in all the cloud computing platforms, because I'm not tied to any particular tool or a platform. I do with respect to the Databricks, Azure, as well as AWS also as well. And then I have a separate neutral data science bootcamps that happen along with this artificial intelligence also as well. And similarly, I'll be see I'm an instructor partner for a couple of consultancies across America and India, as well as my passion is to mentoring these data engineers globally in these things like Cloudera, as I have told you, the Databricks, Snowflake, AWS, and Azure also as well. So here, when we are here to learn this particular Snowflake, we have a particular reason to gather here in order to make ourselves a better data practitioners. When you say something like data practitioners, either it might be the data analysts, the data engineers, or else the machine learning professionals also as well. So anything what we do, it's all that about data we are going to discuss in this one basically. So that's a very slight introduction about me, but I have my LinkedIn and Twitter and Snowflake blogs, and then that's in the Snowflake blog we have a separate Snowflake scholars account where you all can join and then try to get some meaningful latest updates that are going in the Snowflake industry also as well. Okay, that is very short introduction about me. But here, when we talk about here, these are the boot camps that we are going to do here. Okay, when I say why are we doing this particular boot camps here, we want to educate, train, and get the staffers ready for the field in the sense. We don't want to do this particular Snowflake or Databricks or any other course for a passion, but here we have a specific objective. The objective is you need to get the skill, get equipped with the technology, get some hands-on experience, and then try to be market ready with respect to the concepts and the FAQs, and then go into the job. That with that particular purpose only, we try to do these particular boot camps, and then they are very time sensitive because these intensive time programs cater the variety of wide audience. Okay, whether you don't have any data engineering skills or nothing else, but these things have been scientifically designed to meet your needs. Okay, that's the reason my goal as well as the my target audience with respect to these particular boot camps are, this is the fourth boot camp that has been started in this month. My target is to make sure you get all the fundamentals that are really required theoretically and practically. Okay, so that you can, once you get into the job, you need to apply those skills and then be productive from the early stages itself. That's the reason we do these particular boot camps. They have a specific purpose, and then they are not meant for the normal courses what we do on a regular basis basically. Okay, that's the reason. So in this Snowflake, we talk about a lot of buzzwords. Here I'm not expecting everyone to have the complete knowledge on all these particular buzzwords, but once we go into the first week and second week, we'll be able to master all these particular things. We talk about data because that is the main focus of our Snowflake, right? We talk about the data, we talk about the storage, we talk about the compute, networking, memory, cloud, and we also talk about your on-premise, like your corporate data center is your on-premise, and then what is Azure AWS and Google Cloud. These things happens to be the cloud. We talk about the different types of cloud services also as well. We talk about the database. Like it is nothing but the hub of information. We also talk about the data warehouse, which is nothing but your same hub of information that is used for reports and analysis. Okay, all these particular things, and we also talk about data engineer, data analyst, and all. So everything is centered about data, and we'll be using these particular terms more often in the course. But just want to make sure that these are all the things that will be you will be using in our day-to-day sessions of the course that we are going to do here basically. So when we go to this particular Snowflake, what we can say about Snowflake is, see here, Snowflake is a super advanced and efficient storage system for storing these large amounts of data. Basically, it is a hub of data. Okay. And one more thing is that it is not a just a regular database what you see here, but it is going to be a magical warehouse. Because the reason why say that this is a magical data warehouse is it is in the cloud. When I say that it is in the cloud, it is not an on-premise. It is not an on-premise solution. It exists only within the cloud. And another thing is that when it is in the cloud, anybody can access the data, anybody can share the data, as well as when you have that internet connection without worrying about how to set up the servers, how to set up the memory, and then how to set up the network and everything, you should be able to run your applications just like that instantaneously. That's the reason it is treated as a magical data warehouse. Okay. The next thing is it is super fast. Okay. Suppose when we want to install an application, when we want to run an application like a website or something, we have to go through a series of steps and series of process. Like we need to procure the hardware, we need to procure the software, we need to install that one, we need to configure the security and everything, we need to have this budgets and everything that should be there. But here, within a fraction of some time, some couple of hours, you'll be able to run your applications without waiting for anything else. That's why this is called a super fast thing basically in the case of the system. And one more thing is that it can handle tons of data. Data is never be a limit on this particular system. It can manage even exabytes of data also as well. Petabytes, terabytes are gone, and then exabytes of data also. It can have the option of managing that one basically. So that's why Snowflake can store and manage enormous amounts of data also as well. Okay. The next thing is super smart. There is no need for you to write like a regular DBA. You need to organize the things. You need to set up the procedures, manual procedures, the database routines, and all those particular things. There is no need for you to do anything. But basically, what it can do is that it will be able to organize itself. The only thing is that we need to use it as a normal application, just like that we use the Outlook or Gmail. That's why it is called as a software as a service. It is basically treated as a software as a service. So you can easily search for what you want and then you can do. So another thing what we can say here is it is very secure. Even the security aspects also, there is no need for you to worry, because everything happens to be managed by Snowflake. For example, when you want to use an email application like Gmail, what you do, you just go compose the email, send the email, or else you receive the email, okay, or else send the meeting invites. Just like that, we use our email as a software as a service application. Just like that, the Snowflake can be used as a software as a service database. That is nothing but your data warehouse as a service, basically. So in this particular slide, in layman terms, what we can say is that Snowflake is a database. The database can have some tons of data. The database can have some tons of data. And another thing is, this database is super smart. It exists within the cloud. Okay. And you can have the option of using this particular application just like that. You can make this application available within a span of hours, couple of hours, compared to the traditional systems, basically. And it is in the cloud, it is not on premise. So that is what is your Snowflake, basically. It is a cloud based data warehouse that can be used for different types of analytics. It can be used for reports, it can be used for analysis, as well as it can be used for machine learning or artificial intelligence applications also as well. This is what is Snowflake in layman terms. Now, when you want to get a new technology, automatically what happens is you need to take a lot of questions in mind. For example, when you want to use a new technology, obviously what happens is the analytics is of so many types, basically, because since we are talking about Snowflake is meant for data science and data analytics. We talk about the normal reports that you want to produce. Some people might be interested in these dashboards. Some people might be interested in this predictive analytics. Predictive analytics means I would like to understand who is going to form the government at the center in 2024. Those are all the predictions and the speculations, right? So such type of analytics are called as the predictive analytics. Okay, so that's why users, when they try to analyze the data, there won't be only one set of users, but there will be multiple breed of users accessing your data. That's why the users are different. And one more thing is that your data is exploding, basically. Like you can have the data that is coming from so many types of devices, IoT devices, along with the mobile devices, the social networking also as well. So much thing is coming here. And one more thing is that earlier we used to have the data only on premise. Right now there are so many different types of cloud providers that have come into the market. So many different types of cloud providers. Okay, so those cloud providers basically are able to centralize the data in one central location. So these are all the different parameters that we need to consider when we want to transition from existing platform to a new technology, basically. And such a type of transition doesn't be such type of transition doesn't be very easy, because a lot of parameters and dynamics has to be taken into consideration. That's the reason what happens is it is going to have a big business impact. It is going to have a big business impact because we need to reduce the cost, as well as we need to make better and quicker decisions also as well, and create a great customer experience with the data. So that's why when you are using some data warehousing solutions using Informatica or something of the sort, and all of a sudden when you want to switch to some other tool like Azure Databricks or Snowflake or Redshift from AWS, when you want to do such a thing is not sudden, because it is going to have so much business impact that is going to be there, because we need to make better and quicker decisions, and then we need to reduce the cost of the data management also as well at the same time, and we need to create a greater customer experience for this particular market. So that's the reason, when you want to see that journey of the cloud data platform, initially this was in 2000. This was in 2000. The data was existing on premise. Basically, those were the days where people used to use Informatica, Cognos, data stage, and all those things basically. Okay, so you don't have all the data and you don't have all the users, but fast answers yet, but you can get using this SQL database. Okay, around in 2009 or 2010, the concept of big data has come into the picture. Big data, Hadoop technologies has come to the picture. So they can have the option of using this all data, but the response time is very less, and then it is not a SQL database. They have started using something like NoSQL databases into the things. Now, using this big data and Hadoop, there are technologies like Cloudera has come into the market, like Azure platform. You can use Azure or Rackspace for implementing the same data warehouse onto this cloud also as well. This is nothing but your first generation cloud. The main difference between this on-premise and first generation cloud is it exists in your corporate data center, but this one is something that exists within your cloud. Okay, now everything what you see here will be having a set of limitations basically. But when you try to get into that Snowflake, what happens is it has all the data, whether it is structured, unstructured, or semi-structured. It has the data. It can cater the needs of different users. Okay, I'm a normal report person. Okay, my manager wants some dashboards. Okay, the executive or the type the vice presidents might need your predictive analytics. Okay, and suppose tomorrow in the next month, if hurricane is expected to come, I really want to anticipate or speculate the losses that are going to occur, the whole loss that is expected to happen due to that hurricane. All those particular things, when I want to encounter, I need to have all these particular answers. And one more thing is that, see, in case of big data and all, we have so many types of databases. Like we have Hadoop is there. We have something like yeah, HDFS. We have something like SBase is there, and big so many types of technologies has been used over there basically. But here there is no need for you to use different types of cloud, different types of storages. Only SQL is sufficient for the purpose of using this data within this Snowflake platform. That's the reason. What happens is when you try to swift from all these technologies to the Snowflake, what happens is it is cloud based. The second thing is that it can cater all the needs of the different users. The third thing is that the response time is very fast. In real time, we'll be able to get the data, and it is going to be a Snow SQL database. Because if you are good with the SQL, you'll be able to master this Snowflake within no time. That's the reason the journey of the cloud platform is going to be like this. So all the things what you are having here, like if you are using AWS or Azure or Google Cloud or Snowflake or Databricks, this is the place where people are tending to go using into the cloud. Everything should be in the cloud in a centralized location with the help of a SQL platform. It should be a data warehouse, okay, as well as it should be a platform that can be used for all the different types of analytical purposes also as well. That is the reason we just want to go for this particular Snowflake in this case. Now, when you go here, I'll tell you. See, Snowflake, when we start using, it's a modern computing platform. It's a modern computing platform. Let us go a step back. Okay, you have the different types of sources what we use basically, right? That means that the different types of sources might be the data in your relational databases. It might be your ERP applications. It might be your weblog or web data, or else it might be your IoT devices also as well. What all you need to do? You need to do your ETL, the data transformation logic using Informatica, data stage, and all those things that you need to use. You need to use your CDC, the change data capture, the delta extractions that you need to do. And similarly, you need to do this streaming of data, like when your continuous data is coming from the IoT devices and the weblogs. That is the place where the streaming is expected to happen. That means that when you want to integrate the data into a analytical system, these are the different types of integration techniques that we use. After that one, after Yeah, Mandal Ravi, I'll answer that your question. Please give me some time, sir. I'll answer that question. Yeah. So these are all the different technologies that we use for the purpose of integrating the data. And again, in the data transformation, we need to use your ELT. There is a difference between ETL and ELT. In the case of ETL, you try to transform the data and then start loading. But in the case of ELT, you just load the data and then transform. We'll be seeing those differences in the next coming classes. But here, we need to load the data into the warehouse, the data marts, and then the backups. And you have this data lakes that exist basically. And again, the data analytics will be different things. And then these are all the different types of consumers that exist. See here how much effort, or else how much time or how much pain that it takes for the purpose of making this data to go through all these particular phases and stages in order to reach this data customers in the form of reports. It's going to be cumbersome, right? It's going to be tedious. A lot of technologies and a lot of brainstorming and everything has to happen. All these technologies you need to master. Okay. Today, when you go into the job market and then when you look for a profile in Snowflake or data engineering, they'll tell you 100 list. These are all the things that you need to master. Then only you can be called as a data engineer. What is the data engineer? The data engineer will be able to go through all these particular data sources, and then they'll be able to do all these mechanisms. They integrate the transformation, normalization, all these things they need to do, and then they need to produce this data hub of this data marts. That is Yeah, I'll do that one, sir. Yeah, all these things we need to do, and accordingly we need to get the data into this data consumers point of view. This is what is your traditional data warehouse. What is the problem here? Complexity, as I have told you, and then this is costly also as well. Multiple copies of data, because your data has been spread up into all the places, but there is one thing that is not really existing, which is a single source of truth. Because when the data is spread everywhere like this, how can we be confident on the version of the truth of the data? That we can't count on one set of data, right? Because multiple sources, multiple transformations, multiple tools, the data is not consistent throughout the organization here. But when you go to this Snowflake, see here, a futuristic visionary, you know who the visionary is basically, right? The futuristic vision is going to be Snowflake. See the difference. Mandal Ravi, I hope you are seeing here, right? There is only one thing, that is ETL and streaming. Okay, and you have your data existing only within this Snowflake here, and the Snowflake exists on any of these particular clouds. Okay, and all these things here, the data warehouse, the data lake, the data engineering, all the different types of workloads can use this particular Snowflake, and data engineers can start using this particular different types of analytical reports, and real-time analytics can happen in this particular place. I hope when you're comparing the previous slide with the current slide, you will be able to see the amount of simplification that is really happening, the amount of maintenance. Because here, some of the things might happen in the cloud, and some of the things might happen in the on-premise, basically. But when you see the futuristic vision, what happens is this is only in the cloud. That's why from the beginning I have started telling you Snowflake is a cloud-based data warehouse. Snowflake is a cloud-based data warehouse. Okay, that can have the option of bringing the data from multiple sources, which are of different types. Maybe your database data, might be your streaming data, might be your social networking data, or anything for that matter. Okay, and we'll be using only one sort of technique here, ETL streaming here. We'll be using only one sort of technique here, and then we bring the data into the Snowflake. And obviously what happens is the Snowflake can exist on any of these clouds for doing all these types of different types of reporting analytics in this particular case. Basically, that's why Snowflake happens to be a simplified, it is a magical data warehouse. Okay, with, you'll be able to create this application in a couple of hours. There is no need for you to spend so much time in terms of weeks and months for the purpose of spinning all the different types of technologies. Only one single technology and one single set of tools of ETL and streaming will be able to create your entire data warehouse within no time. That's why the Snowflake and Databricks are popular in the days. So Mandal Ravi is asking like, how can you compare Snowflake with Databricks? See, there is a difference between cloud service providers, as well as there is a difference between cloud data platforms. Cloud data platforms. So here, Snowflake is something that can exist on Google Cloud, AWS or Azure. These Google Cloud, AWS, and Azure are cloud service providers, because will be having within the cloud will be having the complete within the cloud will be having the complete uh, infrastructure and the resources that are provided basically. But Snowflake and Databricks utilize all these services of these clouds, and then what they do is that they provide a platform where you can play with. That's why it is called as a software as a service. So both are major competitors within the market, but Azure is mostly tied to Databricks, Mandal Ravi, but this Snowflake can have the option of working with any type of platform. That is a major difference that you can see here. Okay. Now, the value of a cloud data platform. When you see this value of a data platform, I told you one platform, one copy of the data. I told you, right? That is a single source of truth. That is a single source of truth, and then many workloads. Why can you say this is a many workloads here? Because you can see data warehouse applications can be used, data lakes can be used, as well as data engineering, data exchange, and data science can be used. These are all the different types of workloads that we can use using only a single copy of the data that we have within this particular Snowflake. And one more thing is that there is really no need for you to really look into the secure data access of the data, because the security mechanisms and everything will be taken care by the underlying cloud providers. That's why there is no need for you to really bother about that security also as well. And the other thing is that it is a near service maintenance, because we really don't have a dedicated DBS for this Snowflake, you know, because for Oracle SQL Server or any other type of for any other type of things, will have your dedicated DBS. But for Snowflake you really don't have a dedicated DBS. Snowflake data administration happens to be a shared responsibility of those database administrators. That's why this is the value of a cloud data platform. As I have told you, this is your cloud data platform, because Snowflake is not a cloud service provider. Because when you talk about the cloud service provider, you'll be able to get all those compute, share, network, and storage devices for those cloud service providers. But here, cloud platform utilizes all these services in order to make these things happen. Basically, that is the value of this cloud data platform. Okay, next thing, when you go here, I told you one platform, one copy of the data, and then multiple workloads. I told you, right? It is a modernized data warehouse to deliver fast analytics at scale. And one more thing is that when you want to bring the data from multiple places and then put it into this data warehouse, it is going to have this integrated pipelines, very sophisticated advanced pipelines with less code that can be used in order to do this particular data engineering. We can use this particular data lakes also as well. Maybe in the next set of classes, we'll talk about data lake and data warehouse. Let me tell you a simple difference. Data warehouse contains the relational tables using SQL for the purpose of reporting and analysis. But data lake contains structured, unstructured, and semi-structured data also as well. Okay, data lake follows this ELT. That is, you extract the data and then dump the data into that data lake. But here, before loading the data into the data warehouse, what we do is that we transform the data. There is a major difference between this data warehouse and the data lake. And then the data science, like the machine learning, artificial intelligence, and all those types of predictive analytics can be done using this particular data science in this particular case. And then you'll be able to exchange the data between different applications also as well. That is what is the purpose of your Snowflake, basically. Okay, and as I have told you right, you will be able to use both ETL as well as ELT also as well. Okay, as well as people can be able to use both structured and semi-structured data in Snowflake. You cannot have the provision to use unstructured data, but you can use this structured and semi-structured data. You can use data science can be used, as well as DevOps can leverage this particular data using these clones. Like these are all the features that we can see here. One database, single version of truth. One database, single version of truth that will be able to cover all the aspects of your Snowflake basically. That's why the development time or the project building time for creating these particular things are going to be very limited, very fast. The development time is going to be fast in the case of this particular Snowflake. That's why people try to tend to use this one. So when you want to see how this Snowflake has evolved in all these particular things, you can see here. In 2014, what happened is on-premise data warehouse data. What is your on-premise? Your existing data warehouse on-premise on your corporate data centers has been moved to the cloud. Like because you can store the data separately as well as you can process your data separately also as well. Storage and process has been separated in 2014. Okay, that means that the data will be moved to the process. That's what it is called as mobilizing the data. So in 2014 itself, this bank has started. And in the case of 2018, what happens is that it connects with all the data recorded of the cloud provider and region, beginning to work with the data. As I told you in the previous slides, Snowflake is not tied to a single cloud. It can work on AWS, it can work on Azure, as well as it can work on Google Cloud also as well. Basically, that's why a single platform, and then it is a single governance model. It is the connected data, and again in 2022, it is a programmable data. Like once you have the data here, you can have the option of using different types of languages. Like Python can be used, as well as Scala can be used, or else you can use all these particular applications for the purpose of using this particular data. Okay, for the purpose of different types of applications. That's why this is how this Snowflake has emerged from the mobile data to the connected data along with this particular programmable data basically. So that's why, so the opportunities are much more in the case of the Snowflake. So that's why when you want to see what exactly are the benefits of the Snowflake, it can analyze all the types of data, process multiple data types, and one more thing, pay as you go. If you use some terabytes of data, you only pay for the terabytes of data. Optimization is really achieved here. There is no separate DBA that should exist for the purpose of optimizing this particular data. Okay, performance and optimization is automatically being achieved. Okay, along with the easy maintenance and management is really there, and the analytics and the data strategy is going to be good in the case of this particular Snowflake. That's the reason when you want to leave your existing traditional environments, and then you want to move on to a luxurious platform where everything can be done in a very simplified and a smart approach using an artificial intelligence driven approach. What we do is that we plan to use this particular Snowflake. So that's the reason when we want to say here, see here, initially we have this on-premise data, then we have this first generation data lake, we have this public cloud, but now we have this Snowflake cloud where you have all the data, you have only a single engine that can be used, and it is globally connected, and then it is programmable. As I have told you, you can start using Python and other languages also as well for the purpose of using that particular data. And then it has got its marketplace and monetization, like the share value along with the number of customers that has been adapting in this particular Snowflake is enormous in the case of this journey to this data cloud. So that's why, in case if anybody asks you what exactly is this data Snowflake, it is a data hub. You call it as a data warehouse, or you call it as a data lake that exists within the cloud only, and it is a software as a service. Software as a service where any type of user can start utilizing your SQL for the purpose of doing your data engineering along with your data analytical load solves as well. So this course is not only the data engineering related, but it covers both data engineering along with the data analytics platform also as well. Basically, that's why this is the Snowflake thing that we can see here. So if you want to see what exactly is going to be there, it's going to be one platform. It basically contains both structured and semi-structured data, and we can have the option of using all these languages that we can use for the purpose of programming your data. And then cloud services can be used, or like sharing, collaboration, automation, and everything can be done. And one more thing is that it is cross cloud and global. What is that cross cloud? Like doesn't matter whether your data is in cloud, doesn't matter whether your data is in AWS, Azure, or something else, it still can have the option of bringing the data and then putting into this optimized storage basically. Okay, and this slide says that it can have the option of storing this unstructured data, but that unstructured data is only used only for a limited sense. But we mostly focus on structured and semi-structured data in this case basically. Okay, this is what is your one platform. Okay, and one more thing is that I told you, right, powering multiple workloads. You can use your data warehouses, you can use your data lakes, you can use your data engineering applications, AI and ML can be used, and cybersecurity applications can use this data basically, and the different types of applications. Like what is this marketplace? Any third-party applications like Talent, Pentaho, Informatica, Data Stage, all those tools can be integrated to this Snowflake for the purpose of doing your ETL or ELT related activities. That's why it is treated as a data ingestion platform. Data ingestion platform. So if you want to see what is the power of this Snowflake, I'll tell you here. When you see this April 2020, the cloud growth is only this much. But when you see this July 23, this growth is this much. The customers are emerging, the job opportunities are emerging, multiple roles. When you go to my first slide, you'll be able to see what exactly I meant. Like where did I go here? Okay, go to is not there, but what I'm saying is uh, but what I'm saying here is, when we started in 2020, we have a few customers, they are storing the data in this Snowflake, but here now the growth is enormous. That's the reason so many students, so many people from different platforms, as well as so many people from different technologies are trying to upgrade their skills in Snowflake in order to get better in their job positions. Basically, I'm not really saying something like I'm not really saying something like with the help of Snowflake you can do real wonders, and then by switching to a different job on something of the sort. But there are enormous number of possibilities are there when you try to go for this particular Snowflake environment basically. So as I told you, right, these are all the roles. You can go as a data scientist, you can go as a data engineer. So mostly here we'll be focusing on this data engineer and data analyst and data architect. These are the three things that we are going to focus in this particular course. And machine learning and AI are out of the scope of this particular content, but these are the things that we are going to see. But in Snowflake, we have all these particular users in different roles who start using this particular Snowflake environment basically. Okay, and then if you really want to know what are the skills that are required for the Snowflake jobs, let me tell you here. You should have proficiency in SQL. I'm not saying that like you need to be a super expert in SQL, but a proficiency. If you have been asked to write some queries, some basic to moderate queries, you need to do this one. I told you right. The joins and subqueries are equally required. Data modeling should be there. Like you should be in a position to create some tables and establish the relationship between the tables. Those things you need to do. The views and other things you need to do. The ETL is no exception. Like we'll be seeing how to do this effective ETL procedures for the purpose of integrating the data. We'll be seeing here. This ETL is very much important. Data warehousing concepts will be seeing. So all these things we are going to see in this particular course here requires a range of skills to effectively work with and manage the data on the platform. So these are all the skills that are really required basically. And I told you like there is no separate data. There is no separate data based administrator that is really required to manage this Snowflake platforms. But here, what happens is if you are able to be good with respect to these particular techniques, you'll be having a bright future in the data analytics platform, basically. Bright future in this data analytics platform. So, if you want to really understand how this Snowflake job market is going in this India and Europe, I have told you right. Cloud adoption has increased basically. Okay, data sharing and collaboration, and then Snowflake has been really being used in this artificial intelligence and machine learning integration. Advanced analytics like predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics, they have been using this one here because we want to use this analytics in order to take this real-time decision making. That's why people started using this particular analytics. Security mechanisms are good in the case of the Snowflake because as a Snowflake developer, there's no need for you to really focus on this security aspects because everything will be managed internally by Snowflake. And then you have this industry-wide specific solutions like whether you take insurance, whether you take banking, retail sector, okay, financial sectors, debt sectors, all these particular places, Snowflake has got a great grip in the market. Basically, that's why the opportunities are increasing and the trends are also increasing with respect to this particular Snowflake. Basically, okay, these things, and then when you want to how to get started with Snowflake, I want to tell you when you want to build a career in the Snowflake, let me talk about this one here. The first thing is that your basic education like your BTech, MCR or whatever it is something that is going to be the educational foundation that you need to have. You should have your good courses of SQL and database knowledge is really required. The next thing is that learn SQL. If you are good at SQL, you should be that is the minimum expectation that you need to have, as I have told you. The next thing what you need to have is that data warehousing knowledge is really, really important. Data warehousing knowledge happens to be really important here. And then what you need to do is that you need to learn the Snowflake. So this course is going to focus on all these things. We'll be talking about this SQL, we'll be talking about this data warehousing, and then we'll be learning this particular Snowflake also as well. Complete end-to-end independent Snowflake things that we'll learn. And then as I told you in the beginning, we'll be doing both hands-on and theory also as well, hand in hand for this particular Snowflake environment in this hands-on experience, which is very much required. And along with this one, certifications. If you are and this course is going to focus much on the certification basically. So once you do this particular course, I'll be providing you all the necessary material and the stuff that is required to get yourself certified. And then I don't say something like certification will really guarantee you a job, but certification will help you advance your chances of shortlisting your profile in the easy manner. Basically, certifications are required, and then you need to join the net, stay updated with all the latest and greatest technologies that are happening within this Snowflake, which is really important. And then networking. This is the good thing. What I do here is networking. Okay, whoever all the students of me across the globe, across in the different countries, they are connected with me, and then we'll be able to share all our experiences, like what is good, what is bad, and what is not working. What are the new enhancements that are coming? Okay, this particular networking will help you in order to brighten your chances. Suppose when you try to use something like hackathons, what we do is that, suppose if you have a use case scenario and then you're struggling with something else, the other partner around that network might have facing the same issue in the past, and then they'll be able to provide you some simple solutions also as well. That's why I emphasize more on this particular networking aspect in order to build a strong Snowflake scholars network is something that we build, and then we have users within that list, and you will also be added in this particular course. So the webinars and everything, and build a professional network with Snowflake users and professionals we do, and then specialize. Either you should be good at ETL, or else you should be good at data modeling or something of that sort. Specialization is very much important, and along with one job search. So this is something which I don't want to comment at this point of time. If all these things are met, obviously this job search also should be good, because when you try to stay updated with the latest happenings within the market, obviously the job search is not going to be a big brainer. You'll be able to do that one also as well in this particular case. Okay. And finally, continuous learning is very much important. What are the latest trends? What are the versions that are changing? If you try to follow this particular mechanism, I don't think it's going to be a hard thing to get a professional thing in Snowflake, and you can be very soon as a Snowflake practitioner also as well, basically. Okay. This is how the roadmap we generally follow for the purpose of getting yourself good in this particular Snowflake environment. Okay, so basically the SQL, data warehousing knowledge, Snowflake hands-on experience, and then stay updated, networking, specialization. These are the things that will be taken care of. Certifications is your cup of coffee. Soft skills is your cup of coffee, and then trying to be in the part of that networking is your cup of coffee. If you are able to do these things, I think I'll be able to help you out all the way in order to make you a good Snowflake practitioner also as well, basically. Okay, career progression. Okay, these are all the things that we can do. Certification updates, keep your certification up to date, and then job market search is very important. This is important. Keep an eye on the job market to identify the trends and then in-demand skills. Those are all the things that you need to explore in order to be a good thing in the particular market. So that's why, remember that building a career takes time and effort. I'm here to give my 100% effort to you. Okay, but if you are persistent in then trying to make your career in a big way, I myself, along with the visual path, and my co-mates also will be helping you in order to make your career better. I'm not saying it's not better, but better than what we have right now. In case if you are aiming for a bigger career in data market, I'll tell you here. Market value propositions for Snowflake. Okay, when we talk about Snowflake, I told you, right, it is about data analysis, it is about data storage, data sharing, and much more. It is a perfect platform for data engineering, data lakes, and data warehouse and data science with the development of these data applications, basically. That's the reason it offers great performance with all these things that are much needed by the organizations today. That's why many organizations are tending to have their lift and shift data warehouses moving from moving from on-premise, on cloud to the Snowflake. That's why Snowflake Data Cloud is managing 250 bytes of data with 15 million workloads running each day. You can I can give the article resource where you can get this is from Nasdaq. I got this one, basically. That's why, as I told you in the previous slide, where it was in 2020 and where it is in 2023, that's why the market is enormously growing in this particular case. And I told it is a software as a service. And from the next class onwards, we'll be talking about what are these services and everything. But this is your software as a service here in this case, because no need to bother about security, no need to bother about the resources. No need to bother about compute, storage, network, and memory. Everything will be provided to you, and you need to use that particular application just like that. Okay, that's what we are going to do here in this course. And then multiple organizations these days to gain full insights from huge volumes of data. That's why the market for Snowflake is rapidly expanding. You can see here more than two-fifths of the Fortune 500 companies are using Snowflake for their data analysis needs. Like Microsoft, Google, Amazon are using Snowflake. You know this one. Basically. Snowflake has been running in smooth collaboration with these three tech giants since long. Google, GCP, Azure, and then AWS. Snowflake is the giant here. Why should we learn Snowflake is important. The thing is, see here, relatively new and fresh in the cloud data warehouse space. It is relatively new. The earlier you master, the better you would be a practitioner in the DW space, data warehousing space, and data. It is purposefully built only for the cloud data platform, only for these three things. The next thing is that brings many user instances like isolation, like so many things I told you, right? Time travel feature. You can go back into the time and then see what has happened in the past. And then you got this data sharing feature. You can share your data to a number of users, whether they are in your organization or whether they are external to your organization. You can share your data. Data cloning. I will be talking about this one in the sessions. Data cloning features. Raiders accounts. We'll be talking about this one also as well. And out of box security. There is no need for you to bother about this security. Security is going to be automatically maintained by your data stage. And then pay per the second model. You pay for what you use, but you don't need to pay upfront. If you are really consuming something, you pay. Otherwise, no need to pay anything for that particular matter. This is we should we learn this particular Snowflake. And this course content, what I'm going to tell you right now, has been scientifically been designed. I'm telling you, when you first start the course, let me tell you, I talk about this Snowflake architecture and concepts. We talk about these cloud platforms. We talk about the overview of the data lifecycle, cloud data practitioners. We talk about all the see here key concepts and architecture. What I have told you, that is the place where we talk about the cloud data warehousing concepts. Everything will be dealt in this particular module, and then we'll be talking about how exactly we are going to do this data engineering, how exactly we are going to do this data analytics, all this particular thing. This is very exhaustive. When I say something called as very exhaustive, I'll be covering end to end without leaving any stone unturned. We'll be covering uh, all these particular modules here in this case, managing your Snowflake account, user management, security, UDT, and then performance tuning, all these particular things, working with dates and timestamps, everything we are going to cover in this particular curriculum. Finally, by the end of this course, you'll be able to do all these particular things. This is the checklist that I can say you. Configure Snowflake for the external tools, load and unload data, advanced query constructs, change data capture, cloning, time sharing features, virtual warehouses, materialized views, all these particular things you'll be able to see basically in this case. Snowflake ecosystem topics also as well. You will be using Python we'll be using Python as well as we'll be using Tableau and Power BI also as well. Real-time performance tuning, data modeling, everything we are going to cover in this particular course. And one more thing is that don't force to fit yourself somewhere where you don't belong. Data Snowflake is something like this is your RNJ. When you're trying to put it into a garlic, see how hard it is going to be. Snowflake data engineering or data analytics is basically for the people who have passion about the data. You tell me the place where your data exists, doesn't matter at all. Okay, you tell me what type of information you want from that report, whether it is real time, near real time, predictive analytics, prescriptive analytics, AI, or something of that sort. If that passion is something that you have, obviously this course is going to be fruitful for you. And then I'll tell you, by the time you complete this course, you will be a new transformed professional. I can guarantee you that one, with respect to the certification, with respect to the job prospects, and with respect to what exactly is required in the market, I'll be able to provide you that particular information with respect to this Snowflake. Okay, and then, as I told you, right, I generally do these boot camps for all these things like data scientist, data analytics, and all these particular things. Here, as I have told you, I'll be covering mostly for. We'll be covering this Snow Pro and then Snowflake Arctic certifications. Will be covering in this course, Ravi. Okay. So created to fit for all these particular things. Basically, I'll be covering the data engineering, the data analyst, the data architect, and data scientist modules for this particular course. That will help you out with respect to the courses that I'm going to cover in this particular case. Finally, that's it from my side. So basically, I just want to tell you two things. Snowflake only talks about data. Snowflake talks about where is your data, whether your data is in your office premises, whether it is in the cloud, or whether it is in IoT, or whether it is in somewhere else. Tell me the location where your data is there. As a data engineer, my responsibility is to make sure that I get the data, I transform the data, I curate the data, I cleanse the data, and then put into a friendly format that the user requires. And I keep it only in the SQL data warehouse. Where is that SQL data warehouse? That is in the cloud. And who is providing the cloud services to you? Either it is AWS, or it is Azure, or else it is Google Cloud. And what you can do with this data? All the users, maybe the business analysts, maybe the data analysts, maybe the data scientists, or anybody for that particular matter can utilize the data for their different types of reporting and analysis needs. That's why Snowflake happens to be the central hub for all your different types of reporting needs and analysis, basically. So this is what is the course. The course will be there for almost 45 working sessions will be taken, covering end to end, including certifications and the FAQs which are required for the market for various types of profiles. I'll be providing you all those particular things, but only one thing is that those people who really have the passion about data, those people who really have the passion about data analytics, okay, and who can work day and out with respect to the data, this course is a perfect platform for you. And I promise that you don't get upset with respect to the decision that you have been taken. Myself, along with my peers, and with the respect to the visual path, will be helping you out in the material, in the case studies, in the scenarios, in the FAQs. Will be helping you out in all the possible ways in order to make you from a zero to hero in Snowflake. That's our commitment. That's it from my side. And then I thank you so much for everybody who has taken time to join this particular session. And in case if anybody is having any questions, please let me know, and then I'll be able to answer those questions.
Uh, Hi Ravi, this is Ravi M, and thanks for a nice presentation. So the first thing is like what I would like to ask is like you guys are providing the materials, right, for this like
Yes,
PDFs or whatever
I
related to
will.
this
I
module.
will be providing the material, and then I vote it. I will be providing the material.
Okay, thank you. And the second thing which it's out of syllabus, still I'm asking this. So are you covering Snowpark in this or like it's out of syllabus here?
Python connecting to Snowflake. I'll be covering, sir. I'll be covering.
Okay, okay. And the third question, last question, like it's a little
Don't say
out
it's
of.
the last question. You can ask a number of questions, Ravi. Yes.
Yeah, and this is regarding that ML, machine learning and all. So I worked on PySpark regarding ML,
Mhm.
but in Snowflake, like, is it going to use the Snowpark for that, or do they have APIs inbuilt in that?
It has APIs. It has APIs. Python has APIs with the help of Snowpark that can connect to that one, and with the help of the Skykit libraries, it will be able to use that particular data in ML algorithms, basically.
So all the models, whatever it's
Yes.
there,
Yeah.
same thing we can
Yeah.
run here.
Of
Basically,
course.
it's a Python thing, like, which.
Yes. Exactly. Yes. Snowpark is a Python thing.
Okay, okay, then that's it. Thank you, Ravi. Yeah, thanks a lot.
Mhm. Yeah. Any other questions from anybody? There is no need for you to learn anything, Pavan. I'll be taking care of everything. The only thing that you need to have is passion to learn this Snowflake is what is really required. I don't give you, I don't give you job guarantee on that one, man. I don't know your market. Where are you from and all, basically. Any other questions? So I think we will be.
Hi, hi Ravi, this is Lakshmi.
Hi.
Thank you very much, Ravi. This was a great session, really. Just wanted to mention that.
Thank you. Thank you, man. Thank you so much.
Hi Ravi, so there is SQL and compared to the other type of SQLs, what difference in this Snowflake SQL?
It's more of the same SQL that we are going to use, but with some additions, it is going to be there. May I know who is that one asking that question?
I'm Ravi.
Okay, yeah, we will be covering all the SQL what we generally use as ANSI SQL, but apart from that one, Snowflake has got its own proprietary SQL which looks similarly to the same SQL what you use, but in a different format. We'll be dealing that one once we get into the topics.
So how like other competitors, how this institute is most we can make it preferable, and this is Snowflake is 1 month only they will be giving the okay free trial, but how can we can work it more into the Snowflake in
We
later
create one more
periods?
account, Baba. We create one more account. You create 100 accounts, not a problem.
Okay.
You can create 100 free trial accounts. Nobody is going to ask you. And for every free trial account, you'll be given $400 credit. You'll be given as long as you use those $400 credit. You can use that one. Basically, should not be a problem. Any other questions?
Hello.
Yeah.
At what time zone the sessions will be going on?
In which time zone you are in, sir?
I'm in the central time zone, CDT.
In CDT, it will be from 9:30 to 10:30.
Okay. I mean, how the this session works? Like every week, one session, or
Every day, it's a daily session, sir. It's daily sessions.
Okay, daily session. Okay. Thank you so much.
No problem.
And one question, like under hood, will it store only only one time, or like will it store multiple? Like as STFS, they will be copied in three different types. Like so it's
So can you please repeat your question if you don't mind?
so basically in the HDFS or anything, even S3 or the under hood, it will store three
Okay,
different
I got your
nodes and all.
question. I
Yeah,
got your question. In HDFS, you got your data replication where the data
correct,
gets
correct,
replicated three times, right?
correct,
But
correct,
in the
correct.
case
Yeah,
of Snowflake, as I have told you, it is a SaaS, software as a service. Okay, we will be utilizing the application. Okay, when we are utilizing the application, there is no need for us to really consider how many times the data is going to be durable replicated. Everything is going to be happening behind the scenes, and Snowflake is responsible for taking care of that one. Does it answer your question?
yeah, got it. But still, like I just curious to know that. That's it. Like,
I'll tell you one more thing. If Snowflake has been created on AWS,
mhm.
okay, whatever the strategies that AWS takes care of in terms of S3, the standard
Okay,
class,
okay,
that those features will be applicable over here also as well.
okay, okay, okay.
Mm.
Because these people, they say single copy. That's what they tell
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Snowflake.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So
So
so this it's a marketing technique, or under hood it is might be they are
yeah,
making
yeah,
multiple copies.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, under hood they do that one, and then they put our costs onto us basically. That's what
Yeah,
they do.
and they're hiding that, and just a single copy.
Yeah,
Because
exactly.
why I ask this question is, if something goes wrong, so how do they get it back? Like that's what, like if I have some tables with some data corrupted or anything, so do they
Mhm.
get it back from the other nodes where it is residing, or the replication is must? Because in traditional you need to have a replication, otherwise
Yes, exactly.
because
Yeah.
where in case of Snowflake, is it follow the same thing, or because all this cloud or HDFS, they go for replication, no? So is there a way they can means even Snowflakes go with that option or go with the traditional option? That's what.
They go with the option based on the cloud service provider they have been using that one basically. They go
Okay,
with
okay.
the option. Yeah.
But here in this case, they do replication, because I have my own
Of course.
database.
The data has to be
They
replicated. Yes. Yes, of
they
course.
okay,
Yeah.
okay, okay.
Yeah. Because when you take AWS, what happens is when you have your data in one region, they get replicated automatically in different regions also as well to make sure that they maintain those copies. Okay. The
Correct,
same
correct.
is over here also as well. Yeah.
Okay, okay.
How many projects you are going to be explained in this course?
For every use case what we are going to deal, we'll be having use cases that we'll be doing, and at least we'll be doing three different projects, sir. End-to-end projects we'll be doing in this particular curriculum.
Everything is into the we can able to see anytime in our course details or course contents.
Yes,
We do. Okay.
I'll be providing you.